Mock draft season has definitely been rolling for a few weeks now, and there's a lot of stuff going on with the Lions, as one might expect. We have the 6th and the 18th overall pick in the first round. We also have a couple of second round picks, which, as we get closer to the draft, of course, we're going to talk about all rounds and potentially what that looks like. Me and Chris will even do full draft mock drafts and have some good content for you guys because everybody loves a good mock draft, right? But there is something that's happening where if I was Brad Holmes, and thank goodness I'm not, because the Lions turnaround would not be happening as fast as it is now, I would have to very, very seriously consider doing something that he has not been uber prone to do. And that is to trade my first round pick to move backwards. And no, I'm not talking about pick 18. I'm talking about pick number 6. So I want to talk in this video about exactly why that would be. In order to do that, let's look at the overall big board and what the talent level is. So as you can see, there is a shelf. And I think a lot of people determine this shelf to be the first 4 picks, maybe 5. All right. And that is Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, and some people would also put Will Levis in that group for a top 5. The Detroit Lions inconveniently are picking at number 6. This puts us one outside of what we would probably think to have an opportunity to get a Will Anderson or Jalen Carter. So let's get rid of the quarterbacks. What we are starting to see projected, because these quarterbacks are better than last year's, we are starting to see projected that 3 quarterbacks are going to go in the top 5 picks. People are putting Levis, Stroud, and Young in there. Earlier, it was just Young, but CJ Stroud kind of started climbing up and cemented himself firmly as number 2 in a lot of people's eyes after that great bowl game against Georgia. He played very, very well and showed why he can be a good NFL quarterback. But let's not talk about that. That's not what we're talking about. What we're saying is that leaves us with Myles Murphy, Tyree Wilson, a couple of offensive tackles, right? Brian Breesy, Quentin Johnson. We don't need a defensive end necessarily, and we don't need an offensive tackle. Not only that, but Myles Murphy and Tyree Wilson are considered to be significantly further down than Will Anderson and Jalen Carter. In fact, I think they have people have Murphy going as soon as 5 and as low as 10, 11, 12, 13. So we also look at position of need for the Detroit Lions. And I think we all know that our greatest position of need is right here, cornerback. I think we can all agree to that. And if you don't, you know it's in the top 2 of what our needs are. So let's look at where these quarterbacks are. And when we start seeing, there's a video that I'm doing on The Athletic and PFF. Every single one of them has us taking a cornerback with number 6. Not every one of them, but that's been I said everyone. That's the trending way to go right now, is that we're going corner with the 6th pick. Well, you have guys like Joey Porter Jr., Christian Gonzalez, Kelee Ringo, Cam Smith, and Devon Witherspoon. That is 5 guys. All have been picked. I think I've seen Joey Porter Jr., Christian Gonzalez, Cam Smith somehow, and Devon Witherspoon all mocked to the Detroit Lions at number 6. Okay. I think Witherspoon, Gonzalez, and Porter Jr. are kind of the 3 that are in a class above. But here's my point. Let's look at the full order of the draft. If we have the number 6 pick, all right, let me try and get a little closer here for you so you can see. All right, if we have the 6th pick, are you telling me if we trade down with Vegas, we can't still get one of those corners? What about Atlanta? What if what if Will Levis is still on the board and Atlanta or Carolina or Tennessee, right? Say to themselves, or even Houston, maybe they had traded down and they have assets, or New York. What if any of these teams says Will Levis is going to be our QB of the future? Will Levis is the guy. Are you telling me we don't trade down into one of those positions, maybe add ourselves another first round pick, and we can still get the cornerback that we are going to take in the first place? Like, why wouldn't you go for that? Why would you not try and hit that up? I know I would. I absolutely would. All right. So you got Philly here at 10. They also have pick 32. What if you move back from 6 to 10? You get number 32 and a second rounder. or number 32 in a first round pick next year. Is that not something that you're entertaining? Because I absolutely know that I would, because I could still get one of our guys. Now, if you believe, and I've said this before, if you believe that Joey Porter Jr., Christian Gonzalez, or Devon Weatherspoon, or even Ringo or Smith, I would be frustrated with the Ringo pick because I saw Marvin Harrison Jr. just absolutely obliterate him. And it's one game, and I understand that, but it showed his weaknesses and it showed what happens against elite talent. And I get it. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a sophomore, but he would already be a good NFL wide receiver. Like, I understand all that. But if you're saying one of those guys is a shutdown future corner and you think he is just head and shoulders above the rest, like a Christian Gonzalez because of the measurables and the speed, okay, fine. Go for it at 6. But if you think you're still going to get Christian Gonzalez, or if you have all 5 of these corners rated at an equal level and you've decided corner is your first pick, trade down. Trade down, y'all. And that's what I think I wanted to talk about in this. And I don't even think it just goes for cornerback. If you have multiple defensive linemen that you believe are good players, if you have multiple defensive linemen, why not do the same thing for the defensive line? Okay, so D-line, if you believe, that's weird how they did that. All right. So let's get rid of corner. Let's get rid of edge and just go D line. If you believe Brian Bresee is good enough and you don't think he's going to go early, go for it. What if we get rid of defensive line and we just go edge? If you believe Myles Murphy, Tyree Wilson, and let's say you like Foskey, or you like Van Ness, or you like Nolan Smith, or BJ Ujulari, if you say one of those guys better fits our team, again, you do the trade back. I think we are stuck in a position with the Lions this year where if they had the number 3 pick, like they had at one point with the Rams pick, or if they have the 4th pick, yeah, you're not going to trade out of it because you could get what seems to be a surefire defensive stud. But when you combine position of need, which by the way, that's not Brad Holmes' MO, is it? To just draft position of need. He drafts talent. He's also been able to draft talent because we've needed talent everywhere. And now we're starting to figure things out. Our defensive line is considerably better. It started showing great promise. We have our bookends. If Houston is what we all hope he's going to be, and Hutchinson is proving that he is what we wanted him to be, you're good to go. You still have Romeo Okwara, who's only going to get stronger on that Achilles. You still have Julian Okwara, who has flashed to a limited extent. You still have Kaminsky. I mean, like, if you're going to bring him back, he's shown a ton of want to come back. You still have Pascal. Like, when we have people mocking these 275-pound defensive end anchors, like, that's why we got Pascal. That's why we have Pascal. Like, that's what we drafted him to be last year. That's what Kaminsky is. This is not a position of need. This is a position of depth. Our edge game is strong in Detroit. Interior defensive line is what we need. So if you don't have an interior defensive lineman that you are sold on with the number 6 pick, trade back, whether it's to 7, 9, 10, 11, 13, get yourself another first round pick. Can you imagine what 3 first round picks would do? And it also gives you a little more wiggle room with that 18 because you can pair another piece with it if you want to move back up again. You could take the 10th pick and then you might be able to trade 18 and 32. Let's say you got the 10th pick from the Eagles for 32 and another future first or something. Then you can take your 18th pick and your 32nd pick and move all the way back up to 10, 11, 12. Why not? These are the things we need to think about and why trade backs work. Maybe I need to do another video on the trade back, trade up scenario. That would be fun. All right. Hey, we'll see you guys in the next one. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Appreciate your thoughts on it. And hit that comment. Hit the comments. Let me know what you think. Trade back makes sense? I think it makes